The stories keep coming. Mary Thompson, a 35-year-old care worker who faced eviction from her home of 16 years after being left without benefits for nearly 5 months. The Guardian. Newly pregnant Siobhan O'Connor left for 4 weeks with nothing to live on but fresh air. The Mirror. MPs tell me their post bags are filling up with stories of a system that is leaving claimants in rent arrears, in debt and even unable to buy food. Some Tories are fearful that the trickle of letters will turn into an avalanche as the government expands the rollout of universal credit from 5 job centres a week to 50. Conservative MP Heidi Allen, flanked by up to 25 colleagues, has implored ministers to slow down a little bit and get it right. It's bad enough that claimants often on the breadline already have to wait 6 weeks to be paid. It's simply wrong that 1 in 4 new claimants are having to wait longer than that. Even Sir John Major has weighed in to call for a pause in the programme to iron out the kinks. He wants the party to show its heart again. His intervention is particularly poignant given that he was the Prime Minister who scrapped Margaret Thatcher's poll tax. Some Conservative MPs fear that universal credit could become the 21st century poll tax. Many Conservatives will no doubt disagree with that analysis, but some are worried that in the current political climate the Tories are giving Labour a political open goal. Conservative MPs tell me that constituents like the fact they are getting people off long-term benefits and into work. That is a policy they can sell on the doorstep. But not when a quarter of people moving onto the systems are having to wait 6 weeks or more for the first payment. Beth Rigby, one Tory rebel, said it's the kind of policy that militant left-wing organisations can rally around with specific examples and can get people out in the streets. This is a hot political issue. The principle of universal credit is right. It doesn't have to become such a toxic issue. That's because many Conservatives feel they are still on the right side of public opinion when it comes to welfare reform. Voters like welfare cuts, and have consistently been behind the principle of reforming the system. But they want it to be done in a way that is seen as fair. If that is not the case, it can turn into a weapon for the opposition, argues pollster Joe Twyman of Populous. And therein lies the rub. Mary Thompson in danger of losing her home, unable to pay her rent or feed her family because of glitches in the system. Pregnant Siobhan O'Connor left with no money because she spent a £300 rebate on baby items, unaware that a tax rebate was counted as income, meaning that 4 weeks later she received £0 for her universal credit payment. Image. The universal credit system has left some people relying on food banks. It sounds dreadfully unfair, doesn't it? Tales of hardship that Labour can hoover up and then retell on the floor of the House of Commons, in media interviews, at rallies, week in week out. The government is handing the opposition a stick to beat them with. Conservative MPs tell me that constituents like the fact they are getting people off long-term benefits and into work. That is a policy they can sell on the doorstep. But not when a quarter of people moving onto the systems are having to wait 6 weeks or more for the first payment. Indefensible, if not downright cruel. It's bound to backfire. So, Mrs May should listen to her rebels and do whatever it takes to make sure the rollout doesn't leave in its wake a string of horror stories chronicling destitution and despair. This is a politician that once described her own tribe as the nasty party. She called it out back in 2002. Her task now is to stop that reputation returning. Sky Views is a series of comment pieces by Sky News editors and correspondents, published every morning. Previously on Sky Views, Tom Cheshire. China has won the Internet's future.